Hi, everybody. Anybody who's watching, I'm not even sure who this video is for. I don't know. I somehow kind of like looking at the headlines from Drudge Report. It takes me back to an earlier time, almost 30 years ago when Drudge came out, and all it is a collection of links to other sites, but it somehow became real influential in newsrooms, still is today, in pointing out top links. Used to be lots of sites that tried to copy it, but it's still here. And then as now, we never really knew who Matt Drudge was. It's not believed he's still in charge of this site. The motives of the people behind this site, we just don't know. And that isn't that like all media? All media has evolved to be the Drudge Report. It's all become biased and politicized. The Drudge Report was always right leaning. It was instrumental in taking down Bill Clinton, in publicizing the Monica Lewinsky scandal stuff when the mainstream news media said, we're not going to report that. We've decided it's not important. Drudge Report made it important. A lot of people hated it for that. So, but today, all the news media, there are strange motives behind what they do. It's owned, all the media is owned by a few big companies. We see how biased most of the media is towards Donald Trump, but then with Donald Trump in power, he just plays their game too and tries to manipulate the media into toning down their coverage of him, which admittedly was over the top. But then again, everybody seems to be trying to compromise what the media should be doing in reporting the news and informing the public. So, and I guess that goes to AI too, because we don't know the motives behind AI. AI just tries to butter you up so you'll use it, and there's all these weak-minded people out there who go crazy from it. So anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to take a look at the Drudge Report again, see what's going on in the world. I think fewer and fewer people care, but let's take a look. So first up here, we have this, I believe it's a senator who's running in Maine, a Democrat platter who suddenly's got a bunch of sexual allegations up against him. Who cares? It doesn't matter that much to me. Another who cares is Donald Trump supposedly trying to intervene in some World Cup stuff. As an American, I have a limited interest. Until a few days ago, I didn't know all this World Cup stuff was happening in the U.S. But it has limited appeal. Yeah, and I think even Americans know Ronaldo. They don't quite. I mean, he's a soccer player. That's about the beginning and end of it. It shows how isolated we are here from the rest of the world's, the things that the rest of the world pays attention to. So here we have, wow, if you looked at the Drudge Report any month in the last 6 or 7 years, you would see them touting articles like this. Where is it? Okay. You see, I've got this JavaScript blocker, and it's amazing how many websites, and they just have some text they want to give you, a little news story, but they've got to have dozens and dozens of JavaScript things running for pull down menus, and it's a useless amount of garbage just to tell people some information. That's my old man rant. Okay. So this is the overvaluation of U.S. stocks has now surpassed the level that brought the stock market crashing down in 1929. Yeah. It's been way too long since there has been a correction, a recession, something like that in the United States. They've happened at least once a decade, 4 decades, up until this century when the United States started, went from like about a $1 trillion national debt to 37 or 47 trillion in just 20 years, something like that, a little more than that. So we're due for a big turn down. And I think there is a quality about AI that, we see people object to it now. Every other thing in the internet over the years when, oh, it's a search engine that helps me search when Google came out. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's good for me. Oh, a free Gmail address? Wonderful. I love that. Other odds and ends and stuff that comes out. Social media, I can connect with my grandmother and but still, these were benefits to me. Basically those social media, you can host all kinds of content on there for free. You don't have to make your own site. But this AI is the first thing that I believe most people look at and say, this isn't good for me. They stole everybody's content and they're taking away everybody's jobs. And to create it, they're destroying the environment, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a technical innovation that I think is still on rocky ground. And I'm not sure where this is going to land. Whether it seems like AI is going to have to get expensive again. And really, for the normal person, the effects of AI is to lose your job, and you can make funny little animated pictures for social media, and everybody crows about it. You can make your own videos and animated cartoons. Who wants to see that? How long is that a novelty? Will anyone pay monthly fees for it? It seems like the next flash in the pan. License renewal for ABC station. Now, this I just happened across this. This is they're trying to prominent conservative organizations petitioning the FCC to deny license renewal requests from 8 television stations owned by ABC, accusing them of supporting the Chinese Communist Party, among other things. Who knows. As far as I know, it's very rare that FCC would overturn any or not renew any license for about any reason. I remember back in the day, there was a group of like black advocacy that would always petition to say that every station didn't have enough representation from different ethnic groups, and thus their license should not be renewed. And they never won, I don't believe ever, but I guess you just keep trying to force stations to do what they're supposed to do. Something about the Royals in UK. More about soccer. Odyssey. I hope it's good. Yeah, there's it looks a little bit the trailers look a little bit maybe dull. I mean, people have been noting that the reviewers who were invited to these first screenings were hand-picked people, as they normally are. And there's the controversy of the kind of the casting of different ethnicities who are not Greek in these roles. But I hope it's good. It is intriguing for a Christopher Nolan to make such a movie, and I'm interested to see how the mythological, the fantasy elements in it, how those play out. And this guy, this is who I'm becoming. Well, look this. Oh no, I'm the Turtle Man or something. I don't know. This is what I fear. This is my greatest fear. Anyway, this Mitch McConnell is a big wig in the Congress, getting older and older. It's amazing they can't hand off. Everybody's got to die in office now. They can't hand off to a younger generation. Now, how do I do this? Copenhagen, world's most livable city. Never been there. Don't know anything about it. See, when I don't know anything about something, I say it. And there are many things I don't know anything about. American support for Israel erodes. I I just I feel like writing a big long article about what has happened to the standing of Israel in the American psyche. I mean, Israel is the one liberal democracy in the Middle East. It's the one place that supports women's rights. It's the a place that supports gay rights. It's a liberal democracy, and and it's also the country that has done the dirty work for the U.S. over the years in bombing out those other countries who seek to destroy the world order as it is, the Iraqs, the Irans. On the other hand, there's no question that Israel certainly must have. It seems like they've committed genocide and they've really messed up in the way they've conducted this war. They had everybody on their side when there was the incursion from Gaza and the hostage taking. The way that it seems like the indiscriminate killing. They know very well, as countries around the world, that the world watches when a country is intervening in another country, and the media will just take that and run with it. Like if the U.S. is bombing Iraq or somewhere, and Iraq says that we bombed a baby milk factory, or some innocent people got killed, and then the footage gets out, and how terrible you are for doing that. Israel somehow, even if they've won the war in decimating Gaza, they've really lost a battle in the American psyche, a psyche they really had almost control over for many, many decades. And see, we used to have a great ally in the Middle East, and that was Iran. And that was before 1979. And then the United States gave the nod to the revolution, and they let Islamists take it over. And that caused so many problems down the line. And the entire chaotic nature of the Middle East today was because we turned our nose up at our greatest ally. Now, Iran wasn't great. There were problems, but it was a place that had universities that women went to. It was a cosmopolitan place. We should be very careful about throwing Israel overboard. By the same token, I think Israel needs to, as I'm sure they are, they got to reevaluate how they're doing things. Just like with the Vietnam War, you could kind of technically say you have superiority on the battlefield, but lose the war at home. Which 1 in 3 believe committed genocide. And that's the point. It's not whether they did it or not, which they probably did, but it's what people think about it. And you have a situation, just horrible anti-Semitism suddenly. A lot of it coming from the left, in which American Jewish people have put their faith in a Democratic Party for many, many years, and just within a few weeks, the atmosphere has changed. But it was a shocking situation to see how quickly the American public has turned not only on Israel, but Jewish people. Astonishing. Somebody's not paying attention to what's happening with these attitudes to let it get this way. Those soldiers flooding your... Okay, so this is more about our dreaded AI. Excuse me. I need a bottle of water. Now, I just wanted to say one thing about this. The idea that all the money was invested in AI suddenly by all these companies, driven really by Google, is that ad revenue was down, and AI was a way for these companies to keep ad revenue up, to keep serving ads by keeping people on their page. That is, if you did a Google search, Google didn't want you to click on away from their site to any website. You could just get all their information right there on Google. It essentially, Google is, through AI, scraping your content and giving it. Say, you don't need to go to that guy who made the website. We'll just tell you right off here, and it sticks there. So AI was a very a solution to this short-term problem of declining revenue in ads and people moving quickly away out of search engines. However, don't you think that the upshot of all of this, I don't want any AI things on my video, but don't you think the upshot of all of this is that all this AI automated stuff is flooding Google? It's flooding Facebook, which also is heavily invested in it. While it may be keeping people locked on those pages so those companies can serve more ads, it also creates a lack of trust and people not being that happy with social media anymore. Now, I'll have to find the old video, but a couple of years ago, I had a video about the Luddite revolution, and then there was nothing. It's only in the past few weeks, you'll see in the media, if you search for Luddite, that this revolution that I predicted has come to pass, that people are fed up with these multi-tentacled tech companies that push AI on you, that have stolen everyone's content for their AI, and Luddite being people who are protesting against technology. It's a deeper definition than that, but for what people are talking about, it's people who are refusing these wonderful technological advances, refusing to be glued to social media like they once were, are finding, maybe because they're finding less value in being on those sites because there's too much auto-generated slop, faceless garbage. I was just watching a video about the decline of influencer culture. And influencer culture was exactly the idea that you got a regular Joe who's telling you something, or some girl who has some you like and you watch all her videos of where she goes and she says, here's some mascara. It seems that AI is completely counter to that. It takes the face out of it. It makes everything automated. It takes away the human touch. What is it? What's that called? There's something called, is it the Bellman fallacy? It's the idea that, that's future me. Got to get away from future me. The Bellman fallacy, I think it's called that. It's where a hotel says, we're hiring this guy as a doorman. It's a doorman fallacy. So here's a doorman. We pay him a salary. He has a uniform. He's probably getting a lot of tips. And he's the doorman for our apartment there in New York City. Well, why don't we just get a card system and just fire that guy? Save some money. I'm a good manager because I've saved you some money. Fire that guy. Well, the fallacy is that the only cost or the only benefit is opening the door or the guy standing there in the uniform. In reality, he creates an image for for that place. He helps people. He has a personal touch. He makes people. It adds value. It would in fact allow the people who own the hotel to have higher rent in that hotel because of that person, because of the personal touch. So in the same way, when you just say, well, we don't want to pay an influencer to advertise our mascara, let's just have all this automated cartoony junk on there, slop it out to people. Now we've saved money. But the reality is people do respond to another human. There's that human touch. And I think that's what we're coming up with all this AI automation. The idea that it's always better to automate away a human being rather than to have them as the human face of what you're doing. The idea that customers want to be handled by machines, everything is AI chat now. I don't think people like to be thought of as nuisances. And that's what AI does to you. It says, we don't bother us with your problem. We've got an AI chatbot, just refers to the frequently asked questions file. You probably never heard of that. Anyway. And more of Epstein, another subject I don't really care that much about, but I do wonder where he got all his money. No idea. Well, anyway, I don't know. This is my first look at the news, first look at Drudge in a while. If it seems interesting to you, like I say, I guess I'm doing this now for myself. But if you like it, leave a comment and leave a like. And I'll see you next time, maybe, when there's some interesting news. Bye-bye.